Hello again. I'm back with Startropics, a new run of good old Startropics, my favorite NES game, um, and another one that I've also got the world record in. It's the first speed run I ever learned. Bit of a lengthy run, but it doesn't have any like crazy glitches or anything like that. It's just like if you learn to execute the game and just learn how to play the game better, you improve really quickly, and it's super rewarding. So. Another run that I really can recommend to people, but obviously it's like at about an hour. Well, the world record's like 103, but usually when you start running, it's like an hour and a half, hour 20. So it's a bit of a commitment at first. So, yeah, we'll get started here. I'll start the timer once the island appears after I hit start here. So we'll go on to chapter one. Okay, and yeah, so Startropics, you play as this kid named Mike Jones, who is visiting the tropical island, Sea Island, called that because it is shaped like a sea. And you basically arrive in this little village on the island called Coral because you're trying to meet your uncle, who has a research lab here. And you find out from this chief here, actually, that your uncle is abducted. He's taken away by who knows what. We don't know at this point, but you find out pretty quick anyway. And then he gives you a yo-yo. He's like, here, take this child's toy and go smash some monsters in the tunnel that's at the back of the village. By the way, monsters are very fierce down there. But before we do that, we got to talk to some villagers. There's very particular villagers that you need to talk to in a number of the towns in this game in order to progress. So we just talked to enough to allow that guard to basically let us by here. And yeah, so it's split up into overworld and action segments. So we're going to go into this dungeon, which is an action segment. And we're going to execute as best we can. These jellies only take one hit. These first two rooms are actually pretty tricky. High execution rooms to start the run off with. But yeah, so the movement in a dungeon operates on a grid, also on overworld as well. But so you move tile by tile. Which can sometimes throw off people when it comes to controlling this game, because Mike will kind of slide between full tiles rather than stopping in between them. And it's definitely something they have to get used to. Another thing that we're going to be doing a lot is buffering. So you can buffer basically everything in this game. And yeah, as long as if you're mid-jump and then you let go and hold the jump button again before landing on the ground, you'll jump as soon as you touch the ground, as soon as Mike possibly can. So it's definitely possible to do a lot of screens, basically framed perfectly. But when you're fighting enemies, you have to account for their behavior changing. There's a lot of RNG in enemies and bosses. Yeah, so we're using the torch to kind of do a little bit extra damage to these monsters, but for the most part, relying on our yo-yo to attack things. Bats, try to stop it from me. Here's the first boss. We're hopefully not going to fight it. We're gonna not hopefully fight it. There we go. So, Sea Serpent there can do a few things, and what you want is for it to basically shoot a fireball at you. Underneath Sea Serpent is a platform that is exposed after you kill it, but by getting shot by the fireball, you get iframes that allow you to just jump onto that platform despite the fact that Sea Serpent is there anyway, and just walk by the boss. So yeah, ideally you don't kill that thing at all. And yeah, so now we're going to talk to Babu here. He's our uncle's assistant. And he's like, hey, there's this cool sub. Do you want the code to drive it around and find your uncle? And he doesn't really want to give any more information because he's afraid of something. So anyway, we get in the sub and talk to, certainly not Rob. Definitely not Rob or anything there. And proceed on to chapter 2. So Rob, or Navcom is his name. It's going to be our companion through the game who's going to chat with us while we're in the sub. The second chapter starts off with talking to some dolphins who can conveniently be translated by Navcom. It's like a mom dolphin who's like, my son is missing. Can you please help find him? And we promise to do that. If you don't, then it's basically a but thou must situation. You have to say yes to the poor dolphin. So we're going to talk to this lady here who mentions there's a weird bottle that shows up on the beach. If you don't talk to her, the bottle won't actually be there. So you have to go do that. And then there's this little hidden pathway through the wall, which is kind of lightly indicated by some hard-to-see shading, but it is there. Then we're going to say, no, we don't want to read that again, and keep on going. Another great thing about this game is for the text boxes. I mentioned the buffering earlier. You can buffer through text boxes, so you don't have to be mashing the button. Whenever text is appearing, I'm holding the A button, and then as long as you're holding the A button when it's ready to advance, it will advance as soon as possible. So there's no mashing in that case, which is awesome. Now we're into the second dungeon here. Gonna run along these paths and kill mudfish. And try and kill them as close as possible. Killing things closer is better in this game because it reduces the travel time of your yo-yo. And lets you attack faster, basically, if you're closer to things. Bit of a trade-off. Oh, got a heart drop, so I'm actually going to damage boost through that muddo fish there. Kill these Noctos. Open the door at the top. Then I'm going to do a little trick here. I'm going to do a quick turn jump here, which stalls Mike when he lands. Lets us land on that sinking tile as soon as you possibly can, without having to worry about going into the water. If you jump in the water, you're dead in this game. Kind of a treacherous place for Mike to be when he can't swim, but, you know, no risk, no reward, I guess. Taking some intentional damage boost there. This is actually like one of the safest chapters with respect to health. We use this baseball bat I just picked up to grand slam all these spin stars with one hit. The baseball bat's awesome, but it's very situational. Pull that puck. Don't have to, but it's right there, so. And those Octots lined up really well. You have to kill all of them to open the door, so you want them to not kind of start getting away from you. So they worked out really well. Jump across here. And we're going to walk through this kind of little passage here. Those little shaded areas indicate a pass-through wall. You can just kind of walk through. Grab this snowman doll. So it's a special magic item that freezes everything on the screen for a set amount of time. We're going to use that on the boss here. Here's the dolphin that we're trying to save. And here's Octo the Huge, who captured him. Almost got hit by an ink ball there. Okay, gonna freeze him. And then I'm just gonna attack with perfect timing here to hopefully kill him as fast as possible. There we go. The thing about this is when you're attacking, it may look like I'm mashing, but I'm not. You actually want to always be timing your attacks and buffering them. Otherwise, you'll actually mistime attacks and won't kill things as fast as you possibly can. You always need to be perfect buffering to get the best times in this game. And actually, there are other times we do use the bat. It's good for a couple of rooms to buffer your movement, so you can do things with perfect timing. So we're going to use it a couple times in Chapter 3, but then that's it. Yeah. Rescue the dolphin. Now we're going to call his mom. Say, Mommy, found your kid. And she's going to lead us through these. Also, a while ago, I forgot to mention, that bottle we picked up had the code. First of all, it was a letter from our uncle who said he was captured by aliens. So I missed talking about that plot point. Second of all, he gave us a code to allow the submarine to submerge, which you can do on like the kind of wave pool looking sections of ocean. But we're not really going to get to use it for a while because now we're in Chapter 3 where your submarine is wrecked. And so you have to walk through the whole thing. There's no submarine use in this whole chapter, unfortunately. Chapter 3 is one of the chapters that really puts people off of playing this game. Casually, it's quite difficult. There's a lot of dirty tricks. There's also 5 dungeons in Chapter 3. So that's quite off-putting for people. I find it a really fun chapter, but it takes a lot of practice to get good at it. These dodos kind of act somewhat randomly, but if you're facing them, if they're facing you directly or in their peripheral vision, oh, dropped a heart, nice. They'll charge toward you. Kill these monkeys. These are winged monkeys called ninja monkeys. And there's 2 rooms of them. They can be a real pain when they misbehave, which they often do. If you kind of stay at an angle to them, you can't really do much. Luckily, I picked up that heart earlier, so we're good. Over here, we're going to pick up a sub-weapon from that treasure chest called a bola. Throw 2 to get that snake far away. And then I buffered a bola shot there to time myself for getting across the sinking blocks there. Those ostriches with human skulls are called boneheads. They're freaky, and they're also quite aggressive. They'll chase you around, and they do a good amount of damage if they catch up to you. But anyway, that's the first dungeon of Chapter 3 over with here. Now we have a little section of Overworld where we visit a little town called Miracola, and we talk to Jack Black, and we talk to Helen Mirren up here, and we talk to Michael Cera, who's afraid to go with you in case he pukes, and we talk to Aubrey Plaza, who has decided to dance on the table for us. And that's about all the NPCs that I've managed to name in Miracola. So we still have to talk to a few more people here. One's here. Miss Mira. You have to tell her that she's cuter than a character that you met in Chapter 1. If you don't do that, then you can't proceed through the game. You can't enter the Chief's Hut. So you gotta be nice. Gotta be nice to people. Being nice has its rewards, turns out. So now we can get into the hut and talk to the chief. That guy in the front there, he's just like, you talk to him and he's like, that's the chief, I'm just hanging out. Chief Miracola tells us that basically a bunch of weird stuff has happened recently, and it has caused his daughter to fall into a deep sleep, but she hasn't woken up for a super long time. It's not really like really described as to exactly how long it is, but yeah, so she's asleep. So now that we've talked to him, we have to go and basically check and make sure she's asleep so that we know that he's not pulling our leg or anything like that. So we go down the back door here. This guy will then let us through, and then we go and see if Bennett's asleep. She's like, yep, I'm asleep, sawing logs. So then we head this way and out the east side of the village. Because there's another guard up here who you can't get through unless you've talked to Bayonet. So, yeah. Just like good luck, and then we're on to the next dungeon here. Magma's Tunnel. I'm going to damage boost through these snakes in this first room here. Fastest way to do it. Costs a heart, but it's not too bad. Kill these boneheads in a very particular and speedy way. This room's dark, but you can... the whole goal of this room is to watch the enemy's movements to figure out where you can move and jump. And it's one of my favorite rooms in the game. I think it's really cool. Really well done. These gadflies will dive bomb you if you're diagonal to them, but other than that, they're not too bad. We're using the baseball bat here to buffer a jump pattern here, so I'm going to hold B, swing the bat, and go over here and grab some hearts. That lets you land on that top platform just as it's coming back up so that you don't sink. I'll try and do a perfect pivot on that. Hey, we got it. If you're walking onto a staircase, you can press the opposite way. It's like a 4-frame window. It saves you from having to turn around in the next room. Use a slingshot to kill the gadflies in this room. It's does twice as much damage as your yo-yo. And also has farther distance, so it's good for those things. Hopefully not get shot by these mad muddies. I kind of waited there because I didn't trust that guy. Gonna go. We don't need those bolas. We're gonna quote unquote fight a boss, but not really. I'm gonna use the baseball bat one more time here. As long as you're buffering your jumps there, you just make it across there. You don't have to worry about it. I'm gonna jump up, swing the bat, and then execute the room. We should not get hit by magma here at all, except for one intentional hit that I'm gonna take. Right here. There we go. Magma the Fierce is more of a room puzzle than a boss, than an actual bossy fight. So, as long as you know how to like execute the room, he's really not too much of an issue. There's actually a faster way to do it that costs 2 hearts. But for marathon safety, I like to just do the 1 heart strat. Oh, got perfect pivot there too. Then we're out of dungeon 3-2. In fairly good time, I think. And so, we're going to head north here. And there's this castle on the right, but we're just going to wave at it and walk on by. Because you don't actually need to go in there for progression. What we need to do is go up to this ghost village here and tackle the next dungeon, 3-3, which is one of the ones that puts people off a lot in this game. It's got a lot of false exits that will just take you out of the dungeon when you think you're making progress. And it's got a lot of nasty new enemies, but hopefully they'll go smooth for us. That did not go smooth, but that's okay. Those are bone dogs. They're very fast when they line up with you and run at you. They take 2 hits, so I want to be careful around them. And then there's those skulls at the top. They kind of hop around, the same as the Octots were earlier. I'm going to jump here. There's, believe it or not, invisible enemies in this room along that top wall. So you want to jump across the water as soon as you can. So he's focusing to kill these mummies. Throwing some extra attacks there, but yeah, those mummies do a lot of damage if they contact you. There are enemies in this room as well that are invisible. But I'm doing a very specific movement pattern, just dodge them all without being able to see them. They're there, trust me. There's an item called the Rod of Sight that lets you see them, which we're going to use later, but we don't have it right now. We we don't want to pick it up until we absolutely need it. Gonna jump over another one there. They're basically ghosts. You gotta trust me that they're there. This staircase you don't want to go through. I'm gonna walk through the wall there instead. Staircase is a false path. It'll take you out of the dungeon. Now we are at a checkpoint. Those little fireball cannons, they shoot at you at sort of regular intervals. You can't trust them. Sometimes they fire at off times that screw you up. This long room, it's long and dark, but it's got a specific pattern if you always execute it with perfect buffers. You'll never screw it up. There's sinking blocks, but you don't actually need to see them to just do it, so. These are Armstrongs. Nice, good pattern. They just pop out of the ground and throw stuff at you. They can misbehave and take a while, but thankfully they did not. Another checkpoint there. Oh, that's a nice little thing to get. Mummy heart. Nice, ancient, dusty mummy heart. Does not happen often, so. There's a ghost. See, they're real. So you can reveal them with the Rod of Sight. And then you can kill them. Like so. And we've got some bone dogs in this room. One's facing away, so that's good. This means it's going to run away from me. We're going to have to pick up an item here called the Miracle Mirror. Reflects the projectiles from these enemies. They're called dim hags. They're not wizrobes. They may as well be. Now I gotta kill 4 mummies here, so I'm gonna focus. Good. Those bottom 2 are the ones that you don't have to kill, so it's actually beneficial to watch them instead of the other 4. We have to kill some more dim hags here. And that shouldn't catch them, yeah. There we go. And we'll just... These skulls, and then we're away to the boss. Who, surprise, also a big old ghost that we gotta reveal with the Rod of Sight. He's gonna behave and just die, so that's cool. He just got sat in the corner and died. Maxie moves around randomly and can be really annoying. And you've also got those fireball cannons and ghosts that are coming at you, but thankfully that pattern went really well, and you don't have to worry about it. So we're gonna step on this. Remember when I was a kid, I thought this room was another boss. But it's just a thing that drains the pond out in the overworld, so that we can get something that we need for progression, which is a crystal ball. Huh, yeah, I guess I'll just die then. And that's Ghost Village. Actually, Ghost Village went pretty smooth. Getting that extra heart from the Mumu was a nice little bonus as well. So, we're going to pick up this lovely little crystal ball, which we're going to take back to the castle that we saw earlier, because there's a fortune teller there. And the fortune teller dropped that crystal ball in Ghost Village last time she was there, which I don't know why she was there to begin with, but maybe we'll find out that lore in eventual Startropics 3. So this is the castle of Shikola. We have to go around the back here to talk to the fortune teller. And plop it down on her little table. At which point she gives us a change of clothes to turn us, to make us look like a girl. And that is going to let us go into Shikola, because Shikola is a female-only locality. So now we can go in here. You can talk to two people. One is all the way over here. And this is the Queen. Queen She-Cola. And Queen She-Cola is really cool because what she's going to do is give us an upgrade to our basic weapon. So, first of all, she says to talk to the head warrior before we leave, what you need to do. And then she upgrades our yo-yo to a shooting star, which is basically a ball and chain. And so, in order to use the shooting star, you have to have 6 hearts completely full, like red. If you take damage down, so you're down below 6 full hearts, you drop back down to your yo-yo. The shooting star does extra damage, does twice as much damage as the yo-yo, and it also has a projectile attack, so it's really beneficial to always have it and not get hit so that you don't lose it. It's really important to get in good times in Startropics to maintain your health, which is a tricky thing for people to get used to doing. We're going to jump on this button 10 times and then say abracadabra. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Abracadabra. And that's going to make a bridge appear. That's what the head warrior told us to do. Pick up these hearts, and now we have our shooting star, so we can kill these Octots from distance, which is really handy, because they're kind of random, their movements. A little bit random. It'll also do double damage, so it'll kill these mudfish in one hit. In this next room coming up, I'm going to do a very specific walking pattern to make mudfish appear in optimal locations. Like that. Basically, if you walk on certain tiles, it causes the mudfish to appear, and then you have to kill them all to open the door. There's a number of different ways to do that room, but that seems to be the fastest one. So that was Dungeon 3-4. Now we're going to go to the final dungeon here, and hopefully ascend the mountain without too much issue. Only have to kill the bottom right looper in this room to progress. Gotta kill these skulls. Skull dropped a heart. These skulls always drop a heart whenever I'm full on them, which is kind of funny. That's the last time we're going to see boneheads. These white tiles will sink as soon as you land on them. So you need to jump within, I think it's 4 frames of landing on them. But as long as you're buffering your jumps, you won't sink. You won't get taken down by them. Another reason why it's important to learn perfect buffering. But it's a pretty easy thing to learn to get the hang of it pretty quick. Especially with jumps. These blocks are the same. We're going to run into new enemies called frappas in this room, which are kind of stressful. Well, that sucks. That was a very bad pattern. But it's okay. We can get those hearts back in this next room. Just going to buffer a yo-yo attack here. Reveal some hearts. And then use a stopwatch to stop the blocks. And then we can get our shooting star back with those hearts. We kill that skull for fun. We call him Yorick. And here there's some frappas we got to kill. We're going to hold down to kind of increase their chances of appearing faster, which they appeared really quickly. New enemies in this room called goblins. We only have to kill one. That one right there. Kill that one since it's in my way. Alas, poor Yorick. I knew him. Those goblins, when you attack them, they like charge at you extremely quickly, so this is like the only green muddy you see in the whole game. And then we're in the kind of last section of this dungeon. This is a big bully. We're gonna hopefully manipulate him so we don't have to attack him, because it takes a lot of hits to kill him. But we gotta kill this one up here. It's 6 hits with a shooting star. And this is basically like a little loop. But we're trying to get to the center room of this loop. Like it's surrounded by the loop, because that's where a geyser is that's gonna take us up to the top of the mountain. So we're going to walk through this wall here, which is not even marked, and then jump on this water spout and get a big ol' enema as we get launched up to the top. So, that's the end of chapter 3. But we're basically we're halfway done the run. And it's actually crazy how much of the run's time is spent in chapter 3. It's like 20 minutes, basically. When it goes smoothly, anyway. But yeah, so we got the spell from the hermit. Now we're gonna cast it. Bebob, Bobob, Uma, Obob. And Banette's gonna wake up. She's immediately hungry. And then these people promised to repair the submarine if we helped Ben and Annette. Because apparently they know how to fix the submarine. I don't know how they learned that, but yeah, and then we're off to chapter 4. And chapter 4, there are no dungeons in chapter 4. It's an entirely overworld segment. So what's going to happen here is we're going to dock at this, basically this mouth of this fish-shaped island, which certainly is not foreshadowing for anything. Talk to Bait. That's the only person you have to talk to in this village, and he says that he saw someone rowing a raft out in the East Ocean. So we're gonna go look in the east and see what we can find. And oh darn, got swallowed by a big old whale, which is bigger on the inside than on the outside. And we find our buddy from chapter 1, Babu. He says that he witnessed our uncle getting kidnapped by a big old ship in the sky. But he's afraid to say anything because he didn't want the aliens to come back and get him too. But then he found the courage to chase us and follow us to try and tell us the truth. But then he got gobbled up by this whale. So now he's like, there's a lighter that I had. I dropped it somewhere when I got swallowed. Let's light my raft on fire and make this whale sneeze. So, this is just a little overworld maze. You kind of just learn it and you do it. There's a wave pool there you gotta submerge at. And we're gonna find this lighter for Babu. And a lot of people don't like the whale because it is a slow point of the run. But I've always seen it as like a nice little reprieve from the trials of Chapter 3. Chapter 3 throws so much stuff at you, so many dungeons, and then they're like, here, have this little maze. Figure out this little maze for a little while. But it does take a little bit of time to get through. There's also a lot of overworld in Chapter 5 before we start getting back into action segments, so it's a bit of a slow point overall. We picked up the lighter, which is as big as Mike. I don't know how he carries it, but we're going to give it back to Babu. Light the raft on fire. And of course the whale's going to sneeze, just as planned. And launch us out onto this conveniently placed island. And then Babu's like, Dr. J said to dip the letter in water. Do you know what I mean? You need to leave me here on this island. So, this game... Oh, well, I screwed it up. This game came with a letter that had it was basically dippable. You submerged it in water to reveal a hidden message. and the hidden message is that frequency there of 747. So that's what Babu's talking about. And a lot of people didn't like it because it's cool, but a lot of people didn't like it because when you rent the game, a lot of places didn't give out the letter. So if you got to chapter 4 and had to put in the frequency, you'd be screwed unless you brute force it, which there have been a number of people who come into my chat and say that they had to brute force it and go through all the combinations when they were a kid. Yeah, anyway, we're into chapter 5 now. We have first done a bit of overworld, going over to the east side of this island to pick up a worm from that fisherman there named Hook. And at this point, every time we get into the sub, Navcom's going to talk to us because he's using that frequency that we just input in chapter 4 to track our uncle. And so he's going to talk about that every time you get into the sub. So we do all this movement to, partially because it's faster and also to minimize the number of times you get in and out of the sub. So you don't have to listen to Navcom clucking at you. So now we're in Belcola, this little town. Have to talk to everyone except for the lady in the bottom right hut. So we're gonna go up and loop around this little pond. Talk to this guy at the guitar. And this kid up here, Speedo kid. Then we can talk to the chief. Just in this hut here. Just like I don't have an accessible letter. Unfortunately, I've got a sealed copy of the game, and my letter from my original copy is long gone, which is not my fault. Parents do silly things sometimes. I'll just leave it at that. Anyway, we're gonna talk to Petey here. This is a little parrot. Who's the descendant of a parrot that belonged to a captain named Captain Bell. And Captain Bell is the man who put this boat right in our way, blocking the strait, to try and save the islands from pirates, to stop pirates from getting through. So we need to move that boat, even though we have a submarine that should be able to go underneath it. But anyway, we need to move the boat. So that's what we're going to do. If only there were a conveniently placed wave pool so you could go underneath the island. But you cannot. Pass through that wall there. And the parrot, Peter, told us, "Do me so far, do me," which is musical notation that we're going to input on this keyboard here. It's organ. Do, mi, so, fa, do, mi. And that is the code to progress onto the dungeon. So I want everyone in chat to press F for the F room coming up. It's also tradition. F. And then we're going to get into some more action here. So the cool thing about this dungeon is it's very focused on traps rather than just beating stuff up. So you're going to see a lot of unique rooms here. You have to kill this one orange natto to open the door here. This room sounds scary, and it is. The bridge is going to start dropping once we land on this block here. But as long as you're buffering and know what things to land on, you'll get through every time. And we pick up those hearts to get our shooting star, so we have our distance attacks and our damage output increased. Yeah, there's spears launching out of the wall. Do a quick stutter step there to trigger that one without getting hit. This thing's called a pinball. You can't kill it, but when you hit it, it starts kind of bouncing left and right or up and down, depending on where you attack it from. Just gotta dodge them. Take the upper path here, which is indicated by the water body there in the middle of the room. Pencil traps, just gonna ignore them, but we'll see some later. It's a bunch of pass-through walls we just use here. Just have to kill the Nocto in this room. That looper also gets in the way. Then we're going to get onto some other traps here. This room also starts to crumble. The button's down here. And we have a big old bowling ball to deal with. I'm going to do a specific movement here. Attack it to stall it, and then follow it. Hit it again. Go up in that alcove. And we need to reveal a button and a mirror here. You need to pick up the mirror. Basically, any time that you need the mirror, if you don't pick it up, you're just screwed. Those ghouls act like the dim hags, but we don't have to kill them there, thankfully. You just have to kill the snake. Pick up a rod of sight, which indicates that there's a ghost somewhere. This room's cool. You kill these first two snakes and just kind of like linger in the corner, and then these ones charge you. And then you just kind of dodge out of their way. It's a fun room. With some dodos. I'm going to do a specific buffer here with the mirror to get out of this room framed perfectly. This is another bowling ball, or the megaton as they're called. Jump here, buffer mirror attack. Then you just go right out the door. It looks like you're going to walk into that bowling ball, and if you touch a bowling ball, you instantly die. So, you really don't want that to happen. But if you execute that room the same way, like that way, you'll never hit the bowling ball. Gonna buffer an attack as I enter this to take 1 damage boost to get through both of these pinballs without triggering the second one. And there's some pencil traps in this room. Oh, nice. Good pattern. Leave those hearts there. Get chased by another pencil trap here. I threw that yo-yo just to stall me a little bit so that I can go on that sinking block. Then we've got this final megaton, the red one, which follows you around. So you really want to stall it. Actually, I focus a lot on this one because it's sort of scary. Any miss input. Sometimes I attack the wrong way by accident, and that's enough lag to cause it to just catch up to you and kill you. So I try to focus there. And that's the dungeon. It's a bunch of like interesting little traps and unique things to this chapter that you really don't see anywhere else. So it's neat. Every single chapter feels a little bit different in this game, which is awesome. I want everyone to salute. You need an 07 or a salute emote as we salute Captain Bell's bravery as we sink his ship. Thank you, Captain Bell. For blocking the strait to make our lives more difficult. And that's it for Chapter 5. And go on through the strait. A couple people from Belcola come to hang out, but we're on to Chapter 6. There's 8 chapters. This one's starts with a fairly lengthy overworld segment, but then has some really cool dungeons that you get into. So go down this way, go through the island at this exact point here. There's a bunch of islands scattered throughout this area that you can go and visit to see a few things and pick up a few like power-ups and stuff, but we don't need to do that. So we're just going to head northwest here and use these wave pools to proceed to the east. And this island here actually has a big heart. So there have been big hearts scattered throughout the chapters that increase your health by, like, the max health by 1. But every time you clear a chapter, you get, like, it boosts your health up as though you had gotten those anyway. So you don't need to go and pick them up. You'll always start chapters with the proper amount of hit points. There is also a big apple on one of these islands, which is a nice little meme item that sometimes Startropics people use as a donation incentive. Get the big apple. All it does is add time to your timer, so... But it's not too far out of the way. So Navcom talked to me there, but hopefully he won't anymore, because we're going to go in a specific way. There's only certain tiles that trigger a conversation with Navcom here. And he's basically talking, because he's guiding you to this dive spot, which is the location where the 747 megahertz signal is coming from. So we dive there. That's the first time you get to do an underwater segment as the... first and only time you get to do an underwater segment as the sub. But then we're going to proceed on to Dungeon 6-1. And the dungeons in this chapter also have a lot of unique stuff. So you just walk right by all these snakes. You get an anklet here, which is an item that increases your jump range, which is awesome. It's not permanent. It only lasts the room that you pick it up in, but it's really cool. Doing a very particular path here to only kill the mummies. Don't like that. Only kill the mummies I need to. You only need to kill the pink ones there. I killed that extra normal colored mummy because I didn't want to take damage. I don't want to lose my shooting star. I'm going to take intentional damage here. Oh, missed it. Okay, so you can take intentional damage there and then buffer a bunch of attacks to hit that really far octot on the right frame, but I messed it up, which is fine. It's not a big deal. Gotta kill all these mummies. So I'm gonna jump actually closer to them to get my attacks hit faster. That's the mummy ring room. It's a pretty lethal room. But there's that nice little kind of secret area that gets us that medicine that I picked up, which will increase health. This is Turboss. He's basically Octo the Huge from earlier. And if he gets away from you, if he gets back up to the top of the screen, sometimes he can take forever to come back down. So you can get like super far, like up to chapter 6 here, and then lose a ton of time to him, which is very frustrating. These armets work exactly the same as the mummies we've been seeing. They just look different. We're gonna do this dark room. Jump on this block here. Do a button that opens that door, and then we got to go all the way to the top and pick up this anklet to do the rest of the room. So jump there. You have to kind of memorize the layout of the room as you're going back and forth between the using the pass-through wall. Pick up the cleats, which attack everything on screen once. It's an awesome item. I'm gonna do this long room, and I'm gonna hope that the fireball cannons don't fire at off frames, because if they don't, we can do everything smoothly here. But sometimes they just do. No, we're good. Gotta kill all the armets. Like so. I'm gonna attack this one twice. And switch to cleats to finish them off. Gotta kill all these mummies. Whoop. Get an empty hop there. Oh, almost took damage from that one because of the empty hop, but it's fine. But yeah, you can just, in that mummy room, you can just cleat to kill them all. But here, a while ago, I picked up baseballs. They're the only thing that work on this boss, which is called Broken Joe. You have to throw them in his throat. So you have to save them all for this boss. Just kind of jump over his projectiles and then toss them into his mouth when they're open. He can stall. He can be a pain. Sometimes he can give you a 1 cycle. It's not a big deal. Yeah, the baseballs that I used on him, they don't work on any other enemy. They don't do anything to anyone else. So it's a very strange item. Especially considering, like, they always call Mike an ace pitcher. So you would think that when he gets his hand on these baseballs that he's just unstoppable, but yeah, it only works on Broken Joe for some reason. It's a very strange little item. And that's the only time we see them in the game, too. So anyway, we see this giant piece of burnt metal. There's 3 holes in it, but we don't know what's going on with it. So we're just going to walk and head on into Dungeon 6-2. Here is actually a false start. You want to actually walk to the right, go through this troll wall, and go up through this door here. Turn right and fire at a rat. Kill it. And there's going to be some bats here to kill. Avoid those blade traps. There's going to be a cool item here called the asterisk. I'm pressing B when they're in mid-flight to split them. To kill 2 things at once. It's a very, very cool sub-weapon. Again, you only see it in Chapter 6, which is unfortunate. Gotta kill these 2 specific bats, and then we need the asterisk to kill. Okay, that was a really good pattern. Those little things that are floating around, those fuzz balls, if they hit you, they make it so you cannot attack. So getting hit by them is a huge detriment and time loss. We're going to fight a mid-boss here called a hoodoo doll. If it touches me, I'm just dead, so I'm going to focus on it. There we go. Takes 14 hits from the shooting star to kill it. But yeah, if they touch you, they do 11 hearts worth of damage, which is enough to kill us at this point. Use the asterisk, kill these, and dodge that urchin. Oh, almost actually got hit by it. These Rockies just kind of materialize when they hit the wall, and that's when you have to attack them. Whoa. Weird pattern in those gadflies, but that's okay. And if you stay kind of at the edge, it makes them spawn faster because they show up, basically they spawn closer to the wall when they start moving. So there's 1 pink Rocky here you gotta kill. And this next room has 4 pink Rockies and 2 fuzzballs, but you just gotta walk through it. There's a hidden wall, so you don't even have to deal with anything in there, which is nice. I'm gonna pick up this medicine just for safety. There's 2 hoodoo dolls in this next room, so I'm gonna focus here as well. Good. And then it makes it sound like you're done the dungeon, but there's actually a true boss here. But it's a fairly easy boss, so... it's these twin Sumocho statues, which you just use the asterisk to hit. They're kind of shooting at a weird time, but that's okay. So the asterisks are the best way to kill those things. A lot of people don't realize this, but you can actually kill them with your yo-yo or your shooting star. You can actually jump onto the bellies of the statues and then just attack the head of that statue without even worrying about shooting you. So even if you run out of your sub-weapon there, it's not a big deal. So I see this giant hole, which is a crater caused by that piece of slag we saw earlier. And as we make our way through this poop brown passageway, we find our Uncle Steve. And he basically gives a whole bunch of story exposition. Finds that big thing that we passed by with the 3 holes in it. Turns out it's an escape pod that contain 3 magic cubes that are the essence of an alien race. And there's evil aliens that chase them to Earth and are trying to basically finish them off. So we're going to go kick some alien ass now in the spaceship. Their home base. And this chapter here, Chapter 7, is one of the other points that frustrate a lot of people when it comes to not just casual plays, but also the speedrun. It's very tricky. So I'm going to probably focus a lot on 7-1 specifically here. There's a couple of rooms that we call a bottleneck because it can just go wrong and end your run, basically. So pick up some hearts there. We're going to go right. This whole dungeon is very open-ended. So you kind of use these teleporters to travel around it to find the proper exit. It's a very unique and interesting dungeon. Hit that guy to make him back up. Those are alien troopers. They're extremely mobile, and they shoot a lot. And unfortunately, we got like 5 of them to deal with here, so... Oh, good. He effed off. That's good. Okay. That's the first tricky part. Then we just gotta get through here. And these are space riders. Very good. That was a very good bottleneck. So those guys take 1 hit if you got Shooting Star, but then 2 if you've got the Yo-Yo. So if you have Yo-Yo, it's hard to get past them. This is the boss, the jetpack jumpers, or fat bots as we call them. Have a nickname for them. So I'm going to shoot them with this ray gun, which is like the best sub-weapon in the game. And that was really good fat bot fight. So yeah, that ray gun is a great fallback weapon. It does the same amount of damage as your Shooting Star, but you can shoot it at an extremely fast rate. It's got basically the highest DPS you can ask for. At least at this point. There's one more weapon we'll get that's a little bit better, but you get less ammo for it generally. Anyway, we got out of that dungeon, and we're going to pick up this first magic cube. This is one of the cubes that the aliens were trying to get from the escape pod. And it is going to upgrade our main weapon again. So our Shooting Star becomes this thing called a Supernova. So now it does 3 damage instead of 2. But you need to have a full row of hearts to activate it. So I'll grab these hearts here. And the projectile goes across the entire screen at this point. So it's really awesome to have your Supernova. It's a huge advantage to have it anyway. Just tear things up from a distance. I'll fire a Supernova here. And then kind of stun lock that guy with the ray gun. This alien's called Jeff. Sometimes he shoots me a lot, actually. Tends to shoot nobody else, but I always get shot by that alien, so I've decided to name him Jeff. Get those hearts. And then we're going to go through a teleporter up here. It's going to duck us in a room with 4 rolling turrets. I'm going to try to get them all in one go. Oh, we got 3. We got 3 of them. Okay. These are satellites. They just kind of move around quickly and diagonally. There's drugs here to get, but we're going to ignore them for the sake of speed. Because my health is full enough that I can kind of not worry about picking up that vitamin. That force field can just appear anywhere and hit you, so I'm glad it didn't troll me. I should have done that. These green aliens, you kind of want to wait diagonally to and let them advance so that you can hit them just like that. So these satellites get a little bit of health, and then there's orange guns called a like a super laser. We use to rip this guy apart. Like that. That was a gold robot. Now it's just scrap metal. Walk straight across here. I'm gonna do a trick on the next screen, not this one, but the one after. very particular buffer strat. I'm going to hold up here to do a walk in place. And then I'm going to just walk over these heated panels, fire one ray gun shot, and then walk over the other one. Then we have our boss, Asteroid. Every time you hit him a few times, he'll backstep, and you want to basically push him back all the way and then drop the bridge out from under him to kill him. Every time he moves forward, every time he moves back, back a step, he refills all his health. So it's actually really hard to kill him normally, but you can do it if you can unload a ton of damage into him before he takes a full step backwards. And that's like technically the fastest way to kill him, but it's tricky and risky. So anyway, that was those were the dungeons of Chapter 7. We got a little bit of overworld here. It's a little maze to do, just to kind of pad out the chapter a bit. And what we really were trying to do in 7.2 was try to get out of it without taking much damage, because we're about to pick up another magic cube that will fully increase our health and will also fill it up, but it fills it up extremely slowly. So the more full hearts you have at the end of 7.2, the better, because you're saving time basically. So that'll give us those last 6 hearts and then slowly fill them up. Every heart is basically a second. So if you have low health there, you lose a lot of time just waiting for your health to refill. And Mike says, one more cube to find. But then the spaceship starts to lift off, taking him with it. And then we're on to the final dungeon, final chapter. Chapter 8. Always loved this cutscene when I was a kid. But when you're speedrunning, that cutscene is like extremely stressful because it's like taking forever and the timer's going up and you're like, God, just end. Alright, so now we got a bunch of bosses to deal with. Which can one-hit kill you, of course. And we got Zoda. This is our big bad guy. He's the head honcho of the aliens. He's trying to track down these good aliens and destroy them. But we're gonna slap his cheeks. Don't you worry. I'm gonna walk up here and get this gun. And then we're hoping for these heads to show up. And you can actually manipulate them a little bit. If you hold down, it increases the chances of a head appearing. If a hand appears, you can't do anything. You only need to hit it each head one time, and you need to hit 4 of them. So every hand is basically a 3 to 4 second time loss. So before we knew about the manipulation, which it doesn't even look like the manipulation's working right now, but it's supposed to be. What? That should be the last one. Before we knew about the manipulation, sometimes you just get tons and tons of hands at the end of the game, which makes you just miss out on PBs. But now that we know how to somewhat control Zoda there, it has actually helped a lot. Help people finish runs a lot. So I picked up a pill there finally. It's called Vitamin X. It fills up your health completely. These are gold aliens. They are slightly weaker than green ones. They can't shoot as far, so they're not too bad to worry about. It's the green ones that are the worst. We switch to the ray gun here and fight the reactor of the ship. Hopefully one cycle it here. Oh, we got it, last moment. So those those golden spikes at the bottom, it looks like you can jump over them, but you actually can't, so you have to just stand your ground and shoot them to get a fast room there. These are little Zoda spawns, and they're actually being spit out by Zoda's final form, which is just up here. Zoda's final form is stressful, but there's a way to tackle him. You just stay diagonal to him. Can't really do much to you, so you just attack him when he moves. And then you jump away. It's very consistent. Needs about 34 hits with the supernova to kill. He's almost dead. I think. There we go. That's time. So if I actually jumped onto him right now, I would die, and then my run would be invalid. But yeah, that's the end. That's normally where we stop timer. And the game continues after that, but I'll explain what happens there. So we stop timer on Zoda's death because when he dies, sometimes you get a skip that takes you directly to the credits. And it happens if he doesn't spit out. He can spit out those those Zoda spawns during his battle. If he doesn't spit any out and you kill him before he does, then you'll always get the credit skip, or the ending skip. So we split on his death just to not have to worry about people getting the end of then having to rely on his behavior to get that skip or whatever. Because yeah, it would just ruin a PB. I don't know, just be depressing. Thanks for GGs, everyone. Yeah, this is a pretty good run. 104 is always nice to see. My world record's a 103.35. And yeah, any 104 is always good to see. So, dolphin saves you there after you splash in the water. Now I'll just play out the ending a little bit here. There's some photosensitivity stuff going on. Once we get up here, we're back on Sea Island. We go up to Coral Cola. There's a big old reunion. We're going to talk to a few people up here in the hut, including our uncle and the chief, who says monsters are gone, and Navcom, who's just happy robot, the shaman, who we thankfully didn't see. If you get a game over, she's like, hey, you screwed up. But yeah. So there's going to be some photosensitivity here. It's very minimal. It probably doesn't even show up because of the way the frame rate on my stream or whatever. So, but just in case, it's going to happen right now. So, okay, it's over. That was it. Join the cubes. And then these are the aliens that were basically kind of saved within those cubes. Their essences were put into those cubes and then sent to Earth to save them. And they say that their planet was destroyed, which is pretty dark. Zoda just destroyed their whole world, which is retconned in Startropics 2. Spoilers, there's a second one. And that's that leads to the credit sequence, which, in my opinion, is one of the best credit sequences on the NES, but yeah, strongly recommend playing through this game. If you haven't already, it's an awesome game, super fun. Can be frustrating at times, but hey, if you need help getting through this game, you can always join the Startropics Discord. A bunch of helpful people in there, myself included. Always glad to help people through this game, help them learn the run. Always nice to see people learn this game, pick up a speed run for it. Yeah, it's going to be it for me. There's one thing I guess I want to mention. Myself and a couple other people, Zarek and Zero Counts, a while ago we started a club called Board Boosters. You can look it up, boardboosters.com. And it's a club where every 2 months we basically tackle a new speedrun that is underrepresented or has very few runners. And so this month we are all doing Pac-Land, and then 2 months from now we'll do something else. So if that's something that interests you, then by all means look it up. Yeah, always good to see new people joining that. So yeah, cool credit sequence, but I'll hop off and let the marathon continue. So thanks for joining me for this last hour and a half. Very glad I was able to show off these games, and hope the rest of the runs go well, and hope you all have a great night. Take care, everyone. Have a good one.